I think as I ahimsa, non-violence. Non-violence, just empty word, not sufficient. And especially India, 1,000-year-old non-violence concept there. So India should make some kind of effort, and also religious harmony. India, I think, wonderful. All major religious traditions live together here, no problem. Occasionally, some problem. Better sometimes politicians clash. Yes. But basically, I think all major religious traditions live in this country. So, respect each other. Wonderful. So India, I think, should be more active regarding promotion of religious harmony, one. Then promotion of ahimsa, with that demilitarized world. Existing education, so-called modern education, very much oriented about material value. That's a mistake. These days I'm expressing the hygiene of physical, including our education there, even I think kindergarten level, hygiene of physical. Now similarly, we should include hygiene of emotion. So children say how to take your sort of healthy body, more play, more exercise, like that. And similarly, hygiene of emotion. When you face some kind of anger, fear, is how to tackle this emotion. Not talking about God, not talking about next life or these things. Simply, day-to-day life, how to keep peace of mind. That's hygiene of emotion. It's a constant anger, constant sort of fear. Is actually eating our immune system. Then our sort of daily experience, I think we all knows one day we face some problem and much sort of fear or much anger come. That night you may not get sound sleep. Isn't it? So the day you really lost your sort of peace of mind, full of anger, then your wife or husband, you see, because of bring lunch. It seems to you the lunch also very bad. So I don't want. So that's the negative emotion created like that. So real problem not come from outside, but your own motivation, your own sort of emotion. So these things we can teach in school. The sort of systematic way, how to take hygiene of emotion.
Hygiene of emotion.
Hygiene of emotion. Firstly, make clear which emotion is not only destroy peace of mind at the moment, but also destroy your health and destroy because of the happiness or friendly atmosphere in the home. This we can teach. Then further goes the ancient Indian sort of system about emotion. Wonderful, highly developed, over 3,000 years. Buddha himself, product of that tradition.
Yes.
So sometimes I sort of, maybe too much sort of, because prejudice way. I'm a student of ancient Indian knowledge. In 8th century, Tibetan emperor invited at that time, the topmost scholar and logician Shanta Rakshita from Nalanda. He taught the Buddhist tradition according to Nalanda tradition. So we very much emphasis on reason, logical approach. So we always think, and Buddha himself, you see, mentioned, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So now the Nalanda tradition emphasis reason. So that very much similar scientific research. Always research, investigate, not just sort of acceptance. So ancient Indian sort of psychology, really very rich, highly developed. So therefore, since now over 30 years, I have serious discussion with modern scientists, mainly cosmology and psychology, then physics, particularly quantum physics. Raja Ramana, yes. I think you know.
Yes.
Raja Ramana.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, the nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
Once he told me, quantum physics in the West, something new. In this country, in India, 2,600 years ago, already developed quantum physics. It is true. Some of the Nalanda masters writing quantum physics clearly mentioned. So therefore, they compare modern psychology, compare ancient Indian psychology, then modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. I really feel. So after sort of discussion with scientists in these four fields, cosmology, and neurobiology, and psychology, and physics, and these things. In this very room, there's a few occasions, some discussions. So after, at the beginning, when I developed desire, some discussion with scientists, I expressed this, some Buddhists, including some Tibetan scholars, they're a little bit cautious, or be careful, be careful. One American lady who follows Tibetan Buddhism, I asked her, and she told me, be careful, science is killer of religion. Then I reflect Buddha's sort of advice, and also these Nalanda's tradition. Investigate. Through investigation, if you find some contradiction, Buddha's own word, we should reject. So then I start discussion with the modern scientist. Then after more than 30 years, the experience, mutual learning, we learn a lot of useful information from them. And then for them, particularly psychology field and quantum physics in these fields, they learned a lot of information from our tradition, Buddhist tradition. So these days, I describe myself half Buddhist monk, half scientist.
So, Your Holiness, when we started this conversation, I was telling you about inflammation. The word inflammation means to be on fire. And you mentioned global warming. But war, global warming, disease in the body is all inflammation. And now there's all the evidence that it starts with anger, resentment, grievances, hostility, ultimately leading to depression and severe anxiety, causes inflammation in the mind, in the brain, in the immune system, in behavior, ultimately war, and even climate change is connected to inflammatory behavior originally. So treatment of disease is going in that direction. How to decrease the fire in the body, the inflammation in the body. And that could be now, according to many public health schools in the US and elsewhere, anger and inflammation and hostility should be a public health issue. Public health issue.
True. As I mentioned earlier, hygiene of emotion. Then the physical problem, some, of course, external germs or something. But many cases, because of too much sort of the disturbances in emotion, that eventually affect our body. And I think now scientists, till later part of 20th century, the scientists just accept brain. Beside brain, nothing. Now, later part of 20th century, including the famous the brain specialist, the Richard Davidson, Wisconsin University, through some experiment, now they realize beside brain, the mind, of course, when we talk mind, there are grosser level, mind at the awakening time, when sensorial experiencing. That's grosser level. Then dream state, the sensorial sort of consciousness no longer working, but mental level, more subtle. Then without dream, deep sleep, another sort of more subtler consciousness there. So some people, meditator, you see some experience these different level of consciousness. So when they meditate deeper level, it actually affects our brain. So now some scientists have already accepted beside brain, there is something which affects our brain. So emotion, I think as a part of hygiene of emotion, I think we can include in our school sort of the education field how to build healthy body in order, particularly in those, you see, because of the problem which directly link with emotion. In that respect, we can teach, we can explain. And these, although the ultimate sources from these are some ancient Indian tradition. Now, today, sometimes I jokingly teasing Indian. That is, you see, this physical, not Indian physical, Tibetan physical. But you know, but my mind is I'm more Indian than you. We study from childhood all these ancient Indian sort of knowledge. The root text we learn by heart. And then each word, according commentary, again wrote by this Nalanda master, each word explained, and by teacher also. Then use a lot of sort of debate, dialectical way, debate. So we use extensively logical approach. So therefore, the ancient Indian sort of knowledge is concerned, I think we Tibetan have better than those Indian. I think you may be, I don't know whether exception or not. So you see, they, as you follow the modern education introduced by Britisher. The British have no knowledge about ancient Indian knowledge. So now my latest commitment is I'm trying to revival of these ancient Indian knowledge in modern India.
Yes.
The reason these is the ancient Indian knowledge tackle our mind. This world need that. Consider not as a religion, but an academic subject. Subject of because of the hygiene of physical, the health reason, and then logics, very good, very useful, sharpening our mind. I'm, as a student of ancient Indian Parman logic. So whenever I heard something, the immediate reaction is why, how? Always is this reaction. So then further investigation. Something I heard, I never say, yes, yes, yes. I never say that. Why? That's useful, isn't it? Yes. So there's an Indian tradition. Ancient Indian tradition, not modern Indian tradition. So I fully committed, try to revival of these ancient Indian knowledge. Reason, world need some of these knowledge. So then only India have the ability and opportunity to combine ancient Indian knowledge as your own tradition, then combined with modern education, combine these two things. No other country. So therefore, my latest commitment is try to revival of these ancient Indian knowledge in modern India. I think India already made some contribution. Now, furthermore, these ancient Indian knowledge revive, then I think strictly secular way, nothing to do with religion. I think India can make some contribution regarding humanity. This I feel. So, thank you.
Thank you.